What's up? My name's Ty. I design visual identities and logos, and today I want to talk about templates. And if you want to build a brand, do not use templates. And I put a little asterisk on there because I would say from like Canva or from these major template sites, websites that you can just download a template, change the text, and spit out a graphic that you use for whatever you need. This is for people who want to build a brand, who are focused on the long-term game of branding. Now, if you need a graphic like the one shown on screen that just advertises your thing and you're not interested in branding, you can now watch this video, you're fine. All right, but if you do want a brand, and if branding matters to you, then stick around because I'm going to tell you why this type of template is probably a bad idea. Now, here's the thing. This design is fine. There's nothing wrong with this design. This is something that I recreated from one of those major template sites, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, the designer did a good job making this. I didn't design this. Anyways, why don't you want to use something like this for your branding? If we take a look at the graphic as a whole, there's something missing from it, which is your logo. Maybe, there's no logo here. That's kind of important a little bit in branding, is a logo. There's nowhere for the name of your company. I mean, there's the website, that could work, but there's a whole bunch of things missing. There's no logo, there's nowhere for the name of your company, there's no special visual elements that really signify that this is your brand, that this belongs to someone. It's generic, and that's the purpose of these types of templates, is to be generic so that it works for everyone. And it does work, but it doesn't work as branding. If you were to put this out, and then you were to put out another template, the likelihood of both of the templates looking similar or the same, or like they came from the same place, is unlikely. And so what you're dealing with then is inconsistent visuals. And as a brand, you need to be putting out consistent visuals so that everything you produce looks like it comes from the same place. That's the whole point about branding and brand systems and visual identity systems, is that everything looks like it comes from the same place. Now, another issue with this design in terms of branding, okay, because again, if you just want this for a random advertising, like, that's fine. But if you want a brand, this doesn't work because there's no meaning behind it. There's nothing here that's special. There's nothing here that points you specifically to your website or to your company. There's no meaning. There's nothing special here, and that's okay. This is a stock photo. These are some basic elements, and when we're building a brand, we want a little bit more than that. So there's a lack of meaning, and overall, this just fails to build the brand. Unless your brand is built on this type of overlapping shape, and you already have this type of red, and you already have this type of background orange-red color, and you use this type of photography in your branding, then it works out, but the likelihood of that happening is incredibly low. So the thing is, branding is a whole lot more than just putting out similar looking graphics or posts or advertisements or statements. It's about putting out graphics that look like they come from the same source. So here, as a designer, is how I would change this in order to make it fit for a brand. Alright, I've rambled for way too long, so now let's get into some design work, and let me show you how I would take this piece and customize it to add a little bit more branding to it. Now I'm going to try to keep all of the elements the same, but making some changes that will make this actually a branding piece rather than a generic template. So the first thing, let me introduce you to the brand, which is Tiger Lily Clothing Co., which this is kind of dark. Let me just brighten that up. There we go. Tiger Lily Clothing Co. This is a fake brand that I came up with for example purposes. So it's a clothing company, and it's meant to be very organic and authentic and flowy in terms of like the visual language. So the shapes are going to be they're going to be kind of blobby, and they're going to be flowing and organic, and they're meant to intertwine. So the logo here is like two tiger lily petals kind of curled into each other and then flipped and reversed. And the colors that we use are purples and yellow and white. So taking a look with Tiger Lily Clothing Co. in mind. If we look at this template now, we can point out specifically why it's not a good template. There's the colors, they don't match at all. These are hard angular geometric shapes. The typography doesn't match at all. So all these things I'm going to fix right now. So we're going to assume that this picture, I like it. It fits the brand. We're going to assume that that's the case. First thing I'm going to do is change the background color to this purple, like so. And I'm going to change this to my yellow, like so. And then this text I'm changing to, since this is like my headline, I'm going to change it to in my primary font. Here we go. And this is all in all caps. I don't want this in all caps like that. Okay. Let's change some colors here. So this is going to also match this dark purple like that. This is also going to match the purple, and so is this text color as well. So let's just do that. Okay, good. Now we already have some typography that is actually matching. Now this doesn't fit. We're going to make it fit with this. Black is okay. I might go black. I might go white. But I'll probably just stick to straight black for this guy, so that it stands out a little bit on the dark purple. And here I'm going to put in my website. So this is tigerlilyclothingco.com. Cool. Now this is a very long website, so keep that in mind. Now I actually do want to make a fundamental change to these two shapes here, because like I said earlier, they're angular and geometric, and neither of those fit Tiger Lily Clothing Co. very well. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to create some type of blob shape, something that I like that I can kind of flip and mirror. So I'm going to come up with a couple of designs. Okay, this last one is my favorite. So what I'm going to do is take it, flip it, rotate it, and just put it up against itself like so. And then we're going to shrink it down and resize it to fit roughly in the same shape. We'll set this to our lighter purple. And now we're going to get rid of this rectangle because it doesn't fit the brand. Already this is working a lot better, but I do need to customize these shapes so that they fit in this space. There's a little bit too much white space, I think, in this area, so it doesn't feel like it's very contained. So I'm gonna fix this real quick. And here we are. I've arrived at something that I'm mostly happy with. This is definitely not perfect or amazing or even like the perfect branding piece at all, that's for sure. And that is okay. That is okay. Now for contrast, I'm going to set this to my yellow. And I could totally play with the colors more. Like maybe this one is my lighter purple. This one's my lighter purple. And then these blobs can become my darker purple, which means the sail should probably go like that. And then we need to change this color and the text to be this lighter purple as well. And then this is going to be darker purple, like that. In fact, I want to bring this blob in. There we go. Set it to there. Nice. Looks blobby and a little sort of organic. It's a mess, alright? It is definitely a bit of a mess. Alright, now there is something missing from this still, a big piece, and that is our logo. Now, I don't always think that the logo has to be predominantly displayed in a design. However, I do like having it somewhere in the design for sure. So what I'm going to do is make it huge, and I'm going to try and just have it poke out the side here a little bit in a way that's somewhat recognizable, even if it's just in this top corner. I want it tucked behind the picture a little bit. You know, in this case, I think adding the logo in the back, because it's so slim and there's already so much going on, makes it too busy. So what I'm gonna do, include this in this blob somewhere, which I might be able to make some space over here. Kind of like that. Again, this is not perfect for sure. Not pretending like it is. I could set it to purple to make it look like it cuts through to the background. Almost like this is transparent. So something kind of like that. And there we go. Now, I am definitely not saying this is perfect. I'm not fully happy with how this turned out. I would definitely spend a lot more time tweaking this and working on this to make it fit. But if we compare just the look of this with the look of this, and you know what? I realized I actually forgot to change my text here. I want to set this to my sans serif, which is this guy here. Let's make this bold. Okay, there we go. So again, this is definitely not my favorite piece of branding that I've made here. I would spend a lot more time working on this, and I would completely redo these shapes to find something that really works better. But just for demonstration purposes, I hope you can see how, let's get rid of these guys, how this second template is a better branding piece than this first template up here. Now you could do what I did and completely customize and break down a template and rebuild it for your own brand. Or what you can do is build it completely from scratch, and the likelihood of building it from scratch and getting something that you really like and that is truly bespoke and custom and is perfect for your brand is a lot more likely. So if you want to see me build out a template for a brand in real time, then you can watch this video here. Thanks for watching, and peace out.